Hey cats, what's happening? Welcome to the man cave this morning. Another beautiful, warm, sunny Ohio day here. Nice day for a ride. I took the Mini out instead of the big hog. You know, I've got a lot of guys, well, a couple of guys have asked me, about when I ride, what kind of weapons do I carry and how do I carry them? Well, to me, that's kind of more personal information. I mean, with the way social media is today, and I've got over 20,000 people watching these videos, I'm not going to tell them about all of my weapons and where I keep them and how I carry them, and I'm just going to keep that personal. But I will say, there's a lot of people today that feel the need to carry weapons when they ride. And it's understandable, the way this country's going, that you feel the need to carry a weapon. Now, the first thing I consider is, why am I carrying that? And you say, oh, it's self-defense. And that's fine, but your odds of having to defend yourself in a situation with a weapon are like probably less than 1 in a million. And if it does happen, how prepared are you to actually defend yourself with that weapon? I'd say most people, not so much. Now, I know some of you guys are pretty well versed at firearms and how to handle them, and how to shoot, and you're pretty well versed with it. But the majority of the people are not. I mean, there's people carrying weapons that probably shouldn't be carrying weapons. Now, I think the first thing to remember is there's laws concerning carrying weapons on a vehicle, and those have to be pertained to some degree. As you all know, we all have the right to bear arms in this country. I mean, that's what our Constitution says, right? Well, don't be so eager to stand behind that. I mean, I know that that's what this country was based on, but nowadays, with the way things are going, the way our government is, I don't think people follow those rules anymore. So you need to be a little bit cautious if you're going to carry a weapon with you. Now, knives are a little different. I think the laws concerning knives are a little more slack. You can carry a knife easily I think it's under like a 4-inch blade, a 3-inch blade or something like that, without any problem at all. But anything bigger than that, it might cause some concern. But that's a different story. Well, let's just talk about a handgun right now. Say I want to carry a handgun on my bike. What's the best way to do that? Well, the way the law is in most states in the U.S., your weapon has to be in a locked case, unloaded in a locked case. Your ammunition has to be in a different case, separate from the weapon. So in my case, I would have to put the weapon in this bag, in a locked case, and I'd have to put the ammunition in this case, or in this saddlebag in a different case. Keep them separated. If I don't have a case, the other option is to get one of those cables that goes through the barrel and out the chamber, and you can lock that cable so that the gun is unable to be used. Then I could carry it that way too. But what if I get pulled over? Well, when you're a gun carrier, it's your responsibility. Your first responsibility is to tell the law enforcement, I'm carrying a weapon. I mean, that you're required to do that. And if you don't tell them that you're carrying a weapon, it could be construed as that you're trying to conceal a weapon. Uh, and it could go from A to Z depending on what kind of law enforcement facet you get pulled over by. You got the State Highway Patrol, you got the local sheriff, you got the local yokels. You might even have like a game and fish warden or something, but they could all handle it entirely differently. And if you're not following the protocol and they suspect you're concealing a weapon, you could have the weapon confiscated. You could have heavy fines. And worse yet, in some places you could even be incarcerated for transporting a weapon illegally. Say you got a firearm and it's loaded, it's fully loaded, chambered and ready to go, and you got it stuck in your saddlebag or you have it stuck in your vest pocket. That could end up with some very serious allegations. So, now I think most of us would be more prone to do it the most legal way we could possibly do that. There are people, though, that don't want to follow the rules, especially when you get into the 1% crowd, the clubs. They may not want to. They're going to be more prone to carry a loaded weapon to defend themselves because of altercations between different clubs, as we've seen that's happened. They want to be ready to rock and roll. Me, not so much, So I would have to be more cautious about how I carry my weapon. If I did get pulled over, I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to be in accordance with the law. And even at that, even if my handgun is in a locked case, unloaded, unchambered, completely empty, and my ammunition is over in my other bag, like I said, depending on who I get stopped by, I could still have issues. Now, what about concealed carry? Say I got a concealed carry permit, and I can carry, in a holster, or I can carry it, somewhere on my body. Obviously, you're going to need to have your permit with you to prove that you have concealed carry. But the problem with that is not. Say I have a concealed carry for Ohio, but that may not be recognized in a different state. If I'm going across the country and say I go to California, my concealed carry license may be void in California, so I could find myself in hot water there too. So there's all kinds of laws, and they all vary from state to state, and there's loopholes, and there's some. I wouldn't actually come out and say it's crooked, but if they want to get you, they're going to get you. You know what I mean? They can find a way to nail you. So it's just something to be concerned about, something to be cautious about. I'm no expert on firearms. I don't proclaim to be, never have been. I'm not an ace target shooter because my eyesight is not that great. I can hit the target, but I'm not an ace shot. I don't even know what I would do in a situation where I had to use a weapon in self-defense. I don't even know how I would perform in a situation like that. If I could keep my cool and lock and load and be ready to hit my target, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in that situation, for one, and I pray that I never will be. I pray that none of you will ever be in that situation either. But like I said, I realize there's a lot of us that feel like we have to carry self-defense, that we have to be ready, on the ready, that we have to be prepared for an attack or a robbery or something, that may happen to us when we're on the road. it's kind of like a security blanket to have that with us. Now, when you think about it, you're going to carry that thing around all over the planet and probably never, ever even use it. Unless you go somewhere and they say, hey, Itchy, you want to shoot some tin cans off the fence? Oh, yeah, let me get my gun and let's do that. What are the odds of that, though, you know? I mean, yeah, that could be a possibility, but... And just you're riding around, you're touring, say you're going to the Sturgis rally or something, that weapon may never come out. And if it did come out in public, well, that could be a different story. Like I said, it all depends on where you're at and who sees you and what the laws are in that particular state, in that particular county, and that particular law officer that stops you. There's a whole variety of things that could happen there. Well, anyway, that's something to think about. If you do carry, probably good just to brush up on the laws, you know, if you're going to ride. Just know what you're up against and know that even though it's written down that you have a right to bear arms, you may not have all the rights you think you do nowadays, because things are changing. You know as well as I do, things are changing and not for the good. Yeah, things are going right down the drain. Hang on to your hats, fellas. All right, cats, thanks for joining me today. As I've said before, I really appreciate the prayers and the concerns. It's been a very rough, rocky road for my wife and I as she battles this cancer right down to the end, and it's a terrible thing. My prayers go out to you guys too, those of you who are in need, those of you who are suffering, whether it be physical or mental or any other way. You know, I keep you in my prayers. Thanks for the subscriptions, thanks for the likes. And until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.